All right. Today, let's start seated. As always, especially on a Saturday morning class, the muscles can feel a little tight, the bones can feel a little tired and achy. So sitting up on something can be really nice. Cushion from the couch, blanket if you have one, block. And of course, if you tend more towards the limber side, you're going to be fine without. But it can just be a nice way for you to get a little release in the pelvic girdle, a little release in the hip flexors if you're tight there, so you can sit nice and tall. Just crossing one shin in front of the other. In fact, let's all take the right shin in front of the left today. And then before we sit quietly for a moment, go ahead and roll the shoulders back, listening to all of the crunchy sounds happening. And then we roll forward. Good, roll back again. And then just allowing your shoulder blades to release down your back. Fingertips can be resting on the side of the mat, hands on thighs, palms down, palms up. Just see what feels best in your body today. And then take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha, let the week go. We've got the weekend here, so let's just kind of let any stress go, kind of set the tone for a nice couple of days ahead. And if your eyes aren't closed already, go ahead and gently let them close. If that doesn't feel comfortable, of course, you can keep them partially open. Just kind of keep your gaze down. So shin is parallel to the floor here. And begin to drop into your jai breath. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. You are constricting the sides of your throat, so there is a little bit of a sound here. You don't have to overdo it, but you should be able to hear it. So you can imagine that you are on a beautiful beach listening to ocean waves roll in and out. If Darth Vader is more your style, you're channeling him. And then observe your breath. Does the inhale feel easier today? Does the exhale feel easier? Is the breath symmetrical? If not, can you move in that direction? And maybe you have to count the breath, kind of just give yourself a little template to create that. Your attention is going to wander. You're going to get distracted by sounds happening in the room you're in the room around you. Thoughts are going to come into your head. So once you notice that you've attached to something, either externally or internally, come back to your breath. You might have to do it 1,000 times. That's okay. Some days it's really hard. So if that's you today, smile. It doesn't have to be perfect. Some days it's just a little more challenging than others. That's okay. Observe if perhaps you've started to really grip the inner thigh. Can you soften there? Are the toes clenching? Are the fingers clenching? Can you soften in those places? Have the shoulders crept up around the ears? Can you release them down? You could even just pretend that somebody's gently pressing down on your shoulders. So we're relaxing those places, but there is effort here. So you're rooting down into your sit bones. With each inhale, you're getting longer through the sides of your waist. Good, you're gonna gently blink your eyes open here. So we're gonna just do a little side to side, just find a little flow here. So you're gonna exhale, root down into that right palm. Inhale, left arm comes up and over. Good, exhale, release into the left palm. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. And you're trying to root that opposite sit bone down as well. And again, starting out, this side stretching can be quite intense. So you don't have to go very deep at all. We're going to just do this several rounds here, and then we'll come into the hold on each side, but you're just gently warming things up. And you're also enjoying how it feels to connect your movement with your breath. You're finding this idea of vinyasa. For many of us, it feels like this moving meditation. It's another tool to help quiet the mind. Good. So the next time you are rooting into that right palm, left arm reaching up and over, stay there. Anchor down into that left sit bone a little more. A couple of us might reach out a little further. You might even make it to your forearm. I'm not getting there today. You're spinning the pinky side of that left hand down towards the floor. So it's like you're going to spin that palm to face behind you. So you're internally rotating this arm. Feel the shoulder blades still stacking on top of each other. And then maybe can you spin those right ribs up towards the ceiling ever so gently? There's a slight twist here. Good. Deep inhale. As you exhale, we take that hold to the second side. So rooting into the left palm, anchoring into that right sit bone. That might mean that you come out of this a little bit. Shoulder blades release down. They squeeze in towards each other. Pinky side of the right hand is spinning down towards the floor. So that palm is facing behind you. The eye of the elbow is spinning behind you. Come down as far on that left arm as you need to. As you're exhaling, you're wrapping those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're even gazing up slightly. If that feels too intense in the neck, you skip it, as you do with anything that isn't working for you on any given day. We don't have to do all the things all the time. Good. Exhale, come on up to center. Good. And then let's go ahead and inhale, take the arms out wide. We're going to give ourselves a little hug. We're going to take the right arm underneath. So elbows stack and then start to lift. You also could come into your eagle arms here if that is in your wheelhouse, if that's something that you practice. Wherever you're at, the same things are happening. Elbows lift, but shoulder blades release down towards your sit bones. You're rooting there. So deep inhale. As you exhale, start to hinge forward just a little bit, and you might not get very far. Again, if you're a little more open in your hips, this is going to be a little easier for you. You might even have elbows resting on the floor. Sometimes that's a function of just how you're built as well. I have really gangly monkey arms, so. And you should be feeling a little stretch in that outer right hip, maybe even inner left groin. All right, here we go. As we inhale, you come on up. Exhale, stretch the arms out and then just release them down. Extend legs to straight, give them a little shake. And then left shin crosses in front of right shin. Maybe roll those shoulders out one more time. In fact, let's do some shoulder scrunches. So shoulders come up towards the ears on the inhale and exhale, let it go. Good. Shoulders to ears. And you can even exhale the air out through your mouth. Couple more. So it's like we're creating tension so we can feel that sense of relief and release and All right. So again, just find a place that feels good. Close your eyes if that feels good. Tap into that breath again. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, rooting down into your sit bones. It's like the breath is helping you to be in this pose, to do all of the little opposite actions that happen to keep you here. And perhaps already you're finding that the breath is deepening. Perhaps the brain is quieting a little bit. And again, totally fine if it's not. Good. As you inhale, gently blink your eyes open. So we're going to stretch the arms out. You're gonna bend the elbows and then you're gonna interlace your fingers behind your head. And if this is super hard for you, if you're a dude that's watching this on YouTube and you're bulkier in the shoulders, you might grab a strap here so you're not quite as wide. So take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, drop left elbow down, right arm reaches up, and you're gonna feel some stuff in the back of that right shoulder. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale, release down. Observe if you've started to overarch in your lumbar. So you're kind of puffing the top ribs out. Again, sitting nice and tall. Little vinyasa here. Just getting into the arms a little bit. Moving with the breath, finding this nice rhythm. Good. So let's release to that left side and just hold here. So really stretch that right elbow up. Press this left shoulder head back. Belly is pulling in and up ever so gently. Good, nice work, Erin. Inhale to center. Ooh, and then exhale. Releasing that right elbow down, left elbow stretches up. You could even think of this as kind of like Gomukhasana arms, our cow face arms. Just a slightly different configuration. We'll do that later in case you're going, what the hell is Gomukhasana arms? Okay, so let's inhale to center. And then if you've got a strap, you can just release it down. Good. Exhale, elbow reaches to the left, and then let's find that little lateral stretch again. And maybe it's going to feel a little different. So rooting into that left palm, stretching that right arm up and over. I don't know about you, but I feel like I have like a centimeter more space here. Keep spinning those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you gaze up. And again, if that doesn't feel good in the neck yet, you just skip it. And then actually, let's just bring our gaze down and maybe even tuck your chin. It's just getting into a different place in that shoulder. So you're looking at that left shoulder, getting into a different place in the neck rather. All right, as we exhale, we root into this right palm. Inhale, left arm comes up and over. Root into that left side. See if doing that helps you to find more lengthening through the right side. Shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other as you spin the pinky side of the left hand down. Maybe gazing up underneath that top arm. Breath or two. Good. And then just bring your gaze out over that right shoulder and move in that direction. Tuck the chin a little bit. It gets into this nice place on the left side of the neck. Good. As you exhale, come up to center. Inhale, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, release them to the side. Left arm comes underneath. Give yourself that hug. So elbows stacking, shoulder blades releasing down, sitting nice and tall without puffing your ribs out. Good. Maybe backs of the hands press, maybe palms press. I'm just going to give you a visual here of what I mean. So sometimes we dump forward on the sit bones. So you get this curve in your lumbar. Pull the belly button back so you're sitting nice and tall. All right, as we exhale, we hinge forward any amount. So it might not be very deep at all if you're tighter. And especially with the arms in this configuration, it might just be the tiniest amount. Are you breathing? That nice deep inhale through your nose. Full complete exhale through your nose. Good. Inhale, come on up. Stretch the arms out and then release down. Flip onto your tabletop. So just coming to the top of your mat. Let's warm up the spine a little more. So moving towards some cat-cow. Landing with your shoulders over your wrists, fingers gently spreading. Knees underneath your hips. Belly engages a little bit so we have a nice flat back starting. As we inhale, we arch into our lumbar, finding this cow pose. As you exhale, you round in. Really let the back of the neck lengthen and release, coming to the cat stretch. And then close your eyes, perhaps, if that feels good. Otherwise, gaze is soft and gentle in front of you. And you're flowing with your breath. So some days it feels really good to stretch things out a little bit. like Saturday morning vibes. That can be really nice. Or maybe you're just feeling a little anxious today because there's like more snow coming and we all have spring fever and we'd rather be done with it. Maybe you're feeling a little tired, like you need to build a little heat because it's cold. So maybe you're moving your breath a little faster. So it's kind of fun to play with the breath sometimes. Just mix things up a little bit. Good. So on your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Let's just get into the core a little more, find a little balance. Keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. As you inhale, right leg, left arm, stretch and reach. It's a little bird dog here. Nice. Engage that lifted leg. Exhale, release down. Inhale, how long can you get through your spine? Left leg, right arm. Exhale, release. Continuing like this. Let's do 3 to each side. The toes and the lifted leg are pointing down towards the mat. I want you to just imagine that you're standing on that leg. That's how that feels. So we're not trying to open up the hip here. We're keeping both hip bones facing down. We're just moving nice and easy with the breath. There's still that sensation of arms plugging into the shoulder socket, shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other. Good. So the next time you are on that right leg, left arm, stay there. Release that right leg down a little bit. Maybe pull your belly in towards the back ribs ever so slightly. So even nice, flat back, nice adjustments. Good. Stay here like this, or maybe you bend that right knee. Yeah, reach back, see if you can find the foot. Little twist, little balance, little back bend. Nice, intense stretch on the front of that right leg, that hip flexor, that quadricep. Are you breathing? Keep that breath moving. Gorgeous. As gracefully as you came into this, you lengthen out. Nice work. As you exhale, you release down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. Engage your belly. Start to bend that left knee. Maybe you just stay like this. I'm actually getting a stretch just like this on the top of that leg. Perhaps you reach back, find the foot, root down into that left palm, lean this left shoulder, head back. So nice hip flexor stretch, quadricep stretch, little balance, little back bend, all the things. Beautiful work. Inhale, lengthen out. Good, release down. Okay, so we're gonna walk our hands forward a couple of inches. Keep the belly engaged and lifted. Shift forward so shoulders come over your wrists. Keep the elbow squeezing in as we exhale, we lower halfway. Hover here. Gaze slightly forward so the back of the neck is nice and long. Nice, nice, nice. One more deep inhale. And then exhale, land on your belly. Great work. Okay, tops of the feet press. And again, you're gonna reach your arms by your side so palms face in towards each other. So let's all do that first to start. You can rest on your forehead. Put your brain down in your feet. Press down into all 10 toenails. So as you do that, you're gonna find that you start to roll a little bit to the outer edge of the foot. You don't wanna overdo that, but you wanna engage that place. Feel the legs engage. They're active. The outer hips are squeezing in. Hold on to all of that. As you inhale, head and chest extend forward and up, and you can start to lift your arms up too. Any amounts. And again, a lot of that just has to do with how flexible you are in the shoulders. So legs feel really active here. We want that support. Breath smooth and steady with each inhale. Find a little lift, a little lightness. Good. And then we're going to exhale, roll on down. So a couple of options. If you're a little more open in your shoulders, you're going to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. If you're a little hyper flexible, I want you to keep a bend in your elbows, a little bend in your elbows as you do this. If you're a little tighter, you're going to find your strap again. Makeshift strap, a tie, a belt. You can use a sweatshirt even. You're going to hold on to the strap there and you're going to pull out a lot. So resting on your forehead, your shoulder heads are already lifting. So we're already in this pose partially. As you inhale, drag your fingers, your knuckles towards your heels, which are still, or your feet are still pressing down, shoulder heads lift. Maybe in this configuration, it feels like you can get a little higher. Maybe it feels like you can't get higher. That's also okay. Breath smooth and steady. Good, deep inhale. As we exhale, we lower down. So you stay with the strap variation if your fingers are interlaced the other way. So palms still face towards each other. You just shift everything over. Good. One more here. So as we inhale, anchor down, and then think extension forward and up. Beautiful, beautiful work. See if you can lift your shoulder heads just like a micromillimeter more, maybe even just a thought more. That counts. And then perhaps you lift your feet up off the mat. If you go there and it introduces a lot of sensation into your lumbar that doesn't feel good, place them back down. Maybe you can lift your arms a little bit higher wherever you're at. Maybe you're like, when is this belly back bending stuff over? Enough tummy time. As you exhale, lower everything down. Oh, all right, so let's just bend the knees. You can have your hands wherever. You can make a little pill with your hands. Nice and gentle. Just let the legs windshield wiper side to side. Just get a little release of that lumbar. Good, and then release the legs down. Let's just press on up, pull back to little child's pose. And after all of that back bending, it might take you kind of a moment or two to release in here. You can even waggle your hips side to side just to find that release. And then eventually just melting in. And as you know, this is a pose that you can always come to as we start to move. If you need a little break, if there's a pose you hate that you want to skip, this is what you do. Not that there are hateable yoga poses. All right, so we're gonna inhale. Come on up to our tabletop. Walk your hands forward and into two. Curl your toes under. Here we go, downward facing dog. Not too long here. Find any movement that you need to. So come up onto the toes, pedal back and forth. It's always nice to have a little bend in the knees. It really helps you to stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling so you can get lots of length through the sides of your waist. And if you're holding onto your neck, which most of us do in this pose, let it go as hard as that is to do. So your ears are lining up between your biceps. You're just gazing between your feet, which are about hips distance apart. Good, and then from here, oops, lost my camera. We're gonna start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Good, and then again here, have a nice little bend in your knees, grab opposite elbows, and just sway a little bit from side to side. Observe if you're gripping your toes. See if you can soften them. And then conversely, all of the weight might be back in your heels. So maybe rock forward just a little bit. Change the cross of your arms. Nod your head, yes. Nod your head, no. And if you're feeling this is an intense pose. Any time of the day, really. The first one that you do of this Uttanasana, you're going to be feeling it in the neck, the legs, the backs of the legs, really the back of the body. So if you're getting all that sensation, you're doing it right. All right, fingertips release down to the mat with that bend in your knees. Slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Maybe get a little head rush. All right, let's roll the shoulders back again. So let's find those cow face arms, those Gomukhasana arms. So you might want to have a strap here. If you don't have one, no worries. I'll give another variation. So strap over that right shoulder. Feet about hips distance apart, second and third toe, face forward. And same thing applies here. So sometimes we jut the booty out, we puff the ribs forward. Think this nice long straight line is like channel your inner ballerina along with your inner Darth Vader with the breath. So good meets dark, I don't know. All right, here we go. We're gonna inhale, stretch our right arm up. Okay, so I want you to spin that palm to face behind you. So you're spinning that right thumb off to the side, and you can use your left hand to help you wrap it a little more. Bend that elbow. So I'm not mirroring you here, but you can kind of see what's happening. So variation number one is to just take your left hand on top of that right elbow. And in fact, let's all do that just for a couple of breaths. It's actually really nice. This is a stretch that you could do every day at your desk, standing up, seated. Kind of gets into the inseam of the arm. You're going to feel it in the tricep a little bit, kind of a little in the back of the shoulder. So stay here if you're getting a good stretch. Otherwise, you're going to extend that left arm out. So thumbs up, thumbs down. So the palm is spinning behind you. Kind of release that arm down. I like this part. I like to move nice and slow because I start to feel a lot of things. And then you bend the elbow. And this is where something to hold on to can be really nice. So a few of us might be able to get fingertips. Most of us are holding onto the strap. Good, so it just gives us a nice little leverage. This top arm is internally rotated, bottom arm is externally rotated. You're really pressing that left shoulder head back as you reach your right elbow up towards the ceiling. Breath smooth and steady. Ooh, breathe into the spots in the shoulders where you're feeling this. This is not easy. And of course, you can see the cow face, I'm sure. I think the cow face portion happens like the right arm elbow is the right ear up, and then the left elbow is the left ear down. I don't know. This is like Rorschach ink block yoga. All right, let's release here. So kind of reaching your arms at a diagonal. Whew. Then we're gonna press the walls away. Also intense, a nice stretch on the inseam of the arm, top of the shoulder. Release, fingers down, and then I want you to try to curl them in towards your wrist, which is a nice little stretch for your wrist. Again, these are all little actions you can do at your desk when you are having a long day at the keyboard. Release your arms down. Then we're gonna take that strap, flip it to the other shoulder. All right, nice stance, tailbone releases down, sternum stretches up, you feel very tall. Stretch this left arm up, and then spin that palm to face behind you, so we're internally rotating. Bend the elbow, good, and then take your right hand on top of the elbow, gently press down for a breath or two. And right away, you're gonna know if this is a place where you stay, because you're gonna be getting a lot of sensation. It's gonna be like, I don't need to go any further. Okay, so if you would like, take that right arm out, thumbs up, and then thumbs down. Get moving nice and slow, so getting all of that yummy sensation. And then climbing your fingertips up your back, holding the strap, pressing right shoulder head back as left elbow release or stretches up. Tailbone releases down as sternum stretches up. Breath smooth and steady. Is there tension in your face and jaw? Soften there. It's only yoga. Good. Couple more good breaths. Feel the arches in your feet engage and lift. Legs are strong and active. Even though this is a, fairly simple pose. All right, here we go. We're gonna inhale, release. So just finding that little diagonal stretch. Can you get the shoulder blades to squeeze in towards each other though? And then arms come perpendicular to the shoulders, make fists with your hands. And then just start to circle around in the wrists. Switch directions. Good, exhale, release your arms down. And then you can just move the strap off to the side, and we are at the back of our mat here. And maybe have some blocks at the top of your mat if you have them. You might need those eventually. All right, so arms by your side, standing nice and tall. As you inhale, take your arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Maybe with that bend in your knees, let the back of your neck lengthen and release. Inhale, fingertips on the floor. For most of us are gonna have hands on shins or thighs. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Right, so keep looking forward. Nice and gentle. Walk out into your downward facing dog. Good, so take a breath or two there. Alrighty, notice how it's feeling a little different. We're gonna inhale, lift our right leg up. As you exhale, step that foot through between your hands. You might have to pick it up and move it, land on your left knee. And this is where blocks can be really good. So we're just gonna flow with the breath here a little bit. So exhale, really releasing that left hip down towards the mat. As you inhale, you start to straighten the right leg, pull that right hip back, left hip forward. Good, exhale, melt in to that left hip flexor. Good, inhale, pull back. Exhale, sinking in. Good, inhaling, pulling back. Good, and then exhale, we hold here a few breaths. So if you tend to be more on the flexible side, you can slide your left knee back a little further. That being said, it is a Saturday morning. This is a really big muscle. It gets really tight for most of us. So blocks underneath your hands might be nice. Are you breathing? We pull back into our Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. You can take the blocks with you. You could be pretty upright here if you're tighter in your hamstring. You could even just be using hands on a wall to help you balance if this is tricky if you're at home. And for those of us that are a little more flexible, you might be walking your hands forward a little bit. I want you to do that as you hold on to cobra pose sensation in your upper body. So instead of rounding in, open up. So there's a little lift. It's like you're gonna glue your belly on this thigh. Nice work. Okay, rock forward, hands to your right thigh. Make sure you're not on a tight rope. Tailbone releasing down, shoulder stretch or sternum stretching up as you inhale, arms reach out and up. Good, squeeze the outer hips in a lot. Bring your right fingertips to your left wrist. As you exhale, here we are, side bending again. A little different in this configuration. Obviously challenges the balance. You can see me working hard to stay upright here. Maybe you gaze up underneath the top arm. Good, inhale, pull up to center. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Nice work. Just step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, hips stay even. As you exhale, step that left foot through, pick it up and move it if you have to. It's actually a very challenging move. Land on your right knee and then melt that right hip down. How does this side feel different? Find those blocks if you need. As we inhale, we pull back, we start to straighten that left leg. Good, exhale in. Inhale, pull back. This leg might not come all the way to straight. That's okay, especially as we're warming this up. Exhale, melting in. Inhaling, pulling back. Whew. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. So just taking several breaths here, hands on blocks, fingertips on the floor. You can slide that right knee back if you need a little more. How does this side feel different in your body? Does it feel different? And just noticing. This is one of the gifts of our yoga practice, just being very present as we're moving, noticing physical sensations. Even getting very keenly attuned to the things that distract us or the thoughts that distract us. All right, here we go. We pull back. Maybe taking the blocks along for the ride. So you can be pretty high up here. Your left hip is drawing back, right hip forward. So both hip bones are facing forward. You're a little more flexible. You flex those left toes a little more. Maybe walk forward, but keep a little cobra pose in your upper body. Breath smooth and steady. Feel the feels. It hurts so good. Important to get into these big muscle groups. All right. Go ahead and exhale, rock forward, hands to your thighs. So find the outer hips, feel the tailbone release down, sternum stretches up. Inhale, arms reach. Good, left fingertips to right wrist. Oh, squeeze that right glute in as you lean off to the left. Find the balance. Find your breath. Maybe begin to look up underneath that right arm. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other, even though we're lifting the arms up overhead. Beautiful, beautiful poses. All right, here we go. As we inhale, we come up to center. As we exhale, palms plant. Curl right toes under. Just step back to your downward facing dog. And just take a few breaths here. Make sure that your ears are lining up with your biceps. And then nice and easy, let's just start to walk our feet forward to meet our hands. Nice work. When you get there, as you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's just flow a little bit into our chair pose, our Utkatasana. So most of us will have feet hip distance apart. If you feel steady and balanced, you can have your feet a little closer. Just make sure that second and third toe are pointing forward. So we all have kind of different foot shapes, feet shapes, foot shapes. You know what I mean? So you just want to feel nice and even, hip bones facing forward. So wherever you're at, lower belly pulls in. Good, sternum reaches up. Hold on to those sensations as you inhale, knees bend, arms reach. Good, keep the belly engaged as you exhale. Stay nice and long through the sides of your waist. Stretch your arms back behind you, beautiful. So knees are still bent. Good, inhale, come back into your chair pose. Nice and slow, squeeze the glutes together as you press your legs to straight. Inhale, knees bend. Good, exhale, little skier bombing down a mountain. Turns out we still have snow. Good, inhale, back into your chair pose, Utkatasana, because it's not yoga without it. Exhale, press your legs to straight. Inhale, knees bend. Chair pose, everybody's favorite. As you exhale, reach back. There has to be a pose that we love to hate. Inhale, back into your chair pose. Exhale, press to straight. Okay, let's do one more. Inhale, knees bend. Good, exhale. Reach back. Inhale here, hold. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I know they're burning, but let's press up nice and slow to 5. Outer hip squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Belly pulls in. 3, 2, 1. Release your arms by your side. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. That's called get hot quick. Feel the heartbeat. Build a little heat. All right, blinking your eyes up and just releasing your arms by your side. So we are going to step wide on our mats. So do have a block at the top of the mat. So we're just going to do a little external flow here. So stepping nice and wide, generous stance. We usually need to go a little wider than we think. Good gauge is ankles underneath your wrists as you stretch your arms out. From deep within this right hip socket, turn that leg out to 90 degrees. Left toes turn in quite a bit. So you can see my hips are not on the same plane by any stretch of the imagination. We're not trying to square them. Big hip opening in this front leg, releasing down. We're in neutral in this back leg. And we are also heel to arch. So right heel intersecting left arch. Good. Nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, bend into that right knee. And you can see how my knee is tracking over my ankle a little bit. I'm going to give myself a little more space. Pressing into the legs a lot. Inhale, straighten front leg, stretch arms up overhead. Exhale in. Good, inhale up. Your torso is facing towards the long edge of the mat. Exhale in. Good, inhale up. And then exhale in. We're gonna hold here for a couple of breaths. Good, let's spin your palms to face forward. Bend the elbow, so it's like we have goalpost arms. Keep releasing this left hip down, sealing into the back edge of that foot. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, like you're moving through molasses, start to squeeze the arms in towards each other. Inhale, press back, same thing. Give yourself a little resistance with your body. Pull your belly in and up. As you exhale, press in. So just some flies here. Inhale, open. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Stretch out the pectorals, the front of the body. Exhale, squeeze in. Good. Inhale. Stay here. Stretch the arms out. Spin that right palm to face up. Inhale, nice and light. Lateral stretch again. Good. So reversing your warrior. See if you can sink into that front leg a little more, but keep that back leg really active. As we inhale, we find our Virabhadrasana 2. As we exhale, we're going to extend. So think triangle pose in the upper body. Think that lateral stretch. Reach, reach, reach. Elbow can come to your thigh. If you've got a block, take the block behind your foot. Hand goes on that block. Shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Press a little more to the inner edge of your right foot as you seal into the back edge of that left foot. Inhaling, lengthening through the right side of your body. Beautiful, Erin. As you exhale, you're twisting those right ribs up towards the ceiling a little more. Good, and then let's spin that left palm to face forward. Reach it up overhead so you feel that long stretch through that left side. Utthita Parshva Konasana. This is sort of like a pose that is in the Utkatasana camp. It's not yoga without it, but man, it is easy to love to hate this pose. All right, here we go. Strong, strong legs as you inhale. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, sink in a little deeper. Squeezing the outer edges of the feet in together as you inhale. Press on up. Good. Parallel your feet. Release your arms. And actually, let's step the legs together. Just give them a little break. That was a nice long sequence there. All right, second side. Generous stance. Edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. From deep within that left hip socket, turn that leg out to 90. Press to the inner edge of the foot. We're wrapping this left hip to the back hip, or left inner thigh to the outer inner thigh. Right toes turn in. Left heel is intersecting left arch. So hips aren't even. Torso is squaring to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, arms reach. Make sure that the shoulders don't creep up around your ears. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, sink in. And this is where you decide if you need to go a little longer with your stance. If the knee is tracking over the toes, give yourself a little more room. Good. Inhale, press that front leg to straight. Arms will reach up overhead. Exhale. Coming on in. Good. Inhale up. Good. Couple more. Exhale. Press on legs. Legs are so strong here. Inhaling up. And then as we exhale, we sink in. Spin the palms to face forward, so thumbs up. Good, bend the elbows. Keep the elbows lifted, but shoulder blades releasing down, legs really strong. Exhale, press in, move slow. Good, inhale up. We gotta get our beach arms ready. Summer is coming, snow notwithstanding. Inhale. Good, exhale, press in. Inhale, open up. Ooh, a shoulder blade squeeze, open across your heart. Just exhale. Press in. Good. Inhale, open up. Good. And then release. All right. Spin that left palm to face up. We find our reverse warrior, that lateral stretch. So inhale, nice and light. Hand can be on thigh. Your hand might hit your knee here. Just don't put a lot of pressure if that's happening. So you're pretty light in this back leg. It's almost like, or backhand rather, you don't even need to use it. You're finding lots of length through this left side. You're wrapping these right ribs up. Maybe you're looking up underneath that top arm. Reverse warrior. Good. Keep the legs this strong. Inhale up to your Virabhadrasana 2. And then we're just going to hinge at this left hip crease. Reach, reach, reach. Triangle pose in upper arm. Again, we're getting lateral lengthening. Elbow to knee or hand to block. That's really nice because you can actually start to press that left knee into your upper left arm, which gives you a little more hip opening. As you're doing that, can you lengthen through the left side? Spin your right palm to face forward towards your head. Reach that arm up and over. Seal more into the back edge of that right foot. All of these little micro actions are helping you to find like subtle movement in this pose. So there's a little bit of twist, a lot of hip opening, a lot of lateral extension. Here we go. We inhale, come up Virabhadrasana 2. Oh, exhale, I know it's hard. Sink in a little deeper. Inhale, press that front leg to straight. Parallel the feet, release your arms by your side. Step, walk feet together. Find your Tadasana mountain pose. Okay. So let's come into tree pose and let's do an arm variation with this today. So we're going to root down into our left foot. Okay. Feel that hip squeeze in. So this is going to change as we start to come up onto our right toes. You're going to notice that you want to pop off to the left, pop in, open up that hip. All right, so you just might stay here, toes resting on the floor. You might bring those toes a little closer to the left foot. Maybe you can lift that foot into the shin. Maybe you can reach down, grab your foot, press it into the thigh. Thigh and foot, press evenly. So they're coming into the midline. You could be holding onto a piece of wall here if you want to play with this. Palms together at your heart. If you fall out, it's no big deal. Observe if you have the death grip in those standing toes. See if you can just, soften them a little bit. Do press into the four corners of your feet. Pull your belly in and up as you inhale. Start to stretch the arms up overhead. Good. Keep that left arm reaching up. Okay. Spin inward so that palm is facing behind you. Bend the elbow. And then again, you can take your right hand on top of that left elbow. Maybe you reach out. Thumbs down, reach down. Good. And obviously you probably don't want to grab your strap here. So it's fine if your fingers aren't clasping. Just press that left hand into your back so you can get that nice shoulder opening. So you're really pressing that left shoulder back. Beautiful work. So Gomukhasana. In Rikshasana, cow in a tree. How's that for a Saturday morning spring yoga class? Deep inhale. All right, stay here with the legs if you can. Release your arms. Release that leg. Give the feet a little walk out. All right, here we go, second side. Root down into that right foot, feel the arch engage, lower belly is pulling in and up, lift of the sternum. Keep squeezing this outer right hip in, come up onto the toes, opening up. So especially with the arm variation, maybe this is where you stay. This is the pose, you're getting all of the actions. Maybe you lift the foot a little higher. Maybe you can reach down, you have the flexibility to lift that foot into the thigh. We don't want that foot on the knee. Maybe this side looks a little different. So always be willing to adjust, to listen to what you need. Palms together at your heart. Gaze soft and gentle in front of you. Something that's not moving, a drishti, helps with the balance. Breathing helps with the balance. Playful attitude helps with the balance. And if balance is just wicked hard, hey, that's how it is some days, no big deal. All right, so we're gonna exhale, release that right arm down. I might have done this wrong, but go ahead and internally rotate that right arm. Bend the elbow. Okay, so you can take your left hand onto the right elbow, press down here, or maybe reach that arm out. Spin down. Good, and then reach up. So again, you can just take the back of your left hand into your spine to press this left shoulder head back. Keep reaching up through your right elbow. Breath smooth and steady. Gorgeous, Erin. All right, here we go. We're gonna release the arms. And then they come down by the side, release the leg. Oof, such great focus. Give the legs a little walk out. All right, and then from here, we're gonna come to a nice comfortable seat. Again, maybe you're gonna wanna grab a blanket to sit up on. Maybe you don't need it at this point. So we've done a lot. We've warmed up the body. And just observe that, just observe how you're feeling here. So finding our Dandasana, our seated staff pose. Good. And let's go ahead and come in to a hip opener here. So we're gonna come back to our Sukhasana, right shin crossing in front of left shin. And we're gonna take a forward fold. So you might wanna have blocks for your hands or even for your head, depending upon how flexible you are. For those of us that can cross our shins on top of each other, and stack the shins here, you can take this variation. It's gonna go deeper into that right hip. So this isn't for you if this knee is really high. So just skip this. Shins crossing will work. Here we go. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. And then as you exhale, think length, think lift of your sternum as you start to fold in. So if you're tighter in the hips, hands might be resting on blocks. You might be pretty upright. For those of us that are a little more open, you're folding in. And this can be where it's really nice to have something to rest your head on. So you can make this with your hands. You could grab a block, a blanket. Gentle flex of the feet, especially that right foot, helps to engage the muscles around the knee. You definitely don't want any pain there. So if you're feeling that, for sure, flex that foot. Observe how your breath has started to shift of its own accord. It's stretching out a little longer. The inhale, the exhale is getting a little longer. If this is a really intense pose in your body, that might not be happening. The breath might actually be getting a little shallow. So if that's you, perhaps you back out of the pose a little bit and then really focus on your breath, count your breath, kind of distract yourself a little bit. For some of us too, just being in static poses is like an opportunity for the brain to turn on. That's pretty normal. So again, counting the breath, it can kind of bring you back to your body. I don't know if you're having a really good daydream, maybe just stay there. Okay, so I want to find a twist here. So we're going to start to walk our hands off to the right, any amount. And you can think downward facing dog arms here. So press into your palms, spread the fingers, and then feel these left ribs wrap down towards the floor, towards that right thigh, any amount. Keep your body in this twisted shape, but start to rise up. And you're going to take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Reach your right fingertips behind you, press shoulder heads back. Beautiful. Maybe you start to bring your gaze out over that right shoulder. With each inhale, you're getting taller. You exhale, root down into your sit bones. Okay, so stay in the twist, but just bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Ooh, tuck the chin. It's a nice little stretch in the neck. Deep inhale. Exhale, come to center. Extend legs to straight. Second side, left shin crosses in front of your right shin. This side might be different. You can stack shins if that is available in your body. So exhale, root down into your sit bones. Inhale, use that anchoring to help you find lift through the sides of your waist. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in right away. You're noticing what's going on in this side. Is it a little easier in your body? Is it a little tighter? If you're tighter, you're going to be more upright. You just might even be on fingertips. The temptation in any forward fold is to round in. It makes us feel like we're going deeper, but we're actually getting less stretch that way. So keep that cobra feeling in the upper body. So doing a little less sometimes actually equates to a better stretch, a deeper stretch. If you are a little more flexible too, I would engage you to really squeeze the outer hips in a little bit. Maybe that's going to bring you out of the pose. So for those of us that are a little more flexible, it's easy for us to just really dump into the joints. Sometimes we go too far because we're trying to find a little sensation, and we actually need to muscularly work a little more, and it's harder for us to figure out how to turn that on. So in some ways, like, everybody wants to be flexible, which is a good thing to be, but it's also nice to be a little tight. It gives you a little boundary. You can only go so far. And you can definitely develop some flexibility. So the flexies, we have to work hard to develop the strength, the muscle. Okay, so we're gonna start to twist here. So you're gonna walk your hands off to the left. Think downward facing dog, arms. So hands about shoulder distance apart, fingers spread, pressing evenly, anchoring into your sit bones, especially that right one. Start to wrap those right ribs towards that left thigh. So start to walk on up, but just keep your torso facing off to the left, left fingertips behind you, right hand to the outside of that left thigh. If that's not happening in your body, it could just be resting on your right thigh. You can always adjust these poses. And sometimes that means that you just have to play around at home. You can't screw up. Just, get creative. Shoulder heads are pressing back wherever you're at. Maybe you begin to bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Exhale down into your sit bones, feel anchored, feel rooted, and then use that sense of weight, that sense of gravity to inhale, lengthen in your spine. And then go ahead, stay in the twist, but exhale, bring your gaze out over that right shoulder, move in that direction. Tuck the chin a little bit. Ooh, such a tiny move that packs such a big punch. Good. Deep inhale. Exhale, unwind. Extend legs. Give them a squeeze. We did it. We made it. Shavasana time. So you're going to make your way onto your back. If there is tenderness in your lower back, legs on a chair, up the wall might be really nice. A little something underneath your knees. So be that blocks or a blanket. You can also just keep your knees bent. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Allow knees to knock in towards each other. And then do a little snuggle situation of the shoulders. So kind of roll them underneath you as we often do in our bridge pose. So you feel this stretch, this openness across your heart, your pectorals. Deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. And you melt in here for a moment or two. You don't have to effort anything in. You completely relax. Shavasana. So of course, stay here longer if you can. If you are ready to move into the day, the weekend ahead, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Bring some movement back to your body. Wiggle fingers, toes, circle ankles, wrists, stretch arms up overhead, whatever feels good. And staying soft and gentle, roll to one side or the other. So knees bend in. Finding a little fetal position. And then you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. We find Sukhasana again. We've been here a couple of times. I want you to notice how good it feels though. So hopefully there's more spaciousness, length in your spine, a greater sense of ease, especially in those hips. Because the shape of your body has shifted, there's more room for your breath to really expand. It's a little richer, a little deeper. So the body and breath working together have this profound effect on the mind. They help to quiet it, focus it. They bring us a little joy. So soak all of this up. You made it happen. You showed up. You did the work. Not always easy to do. Just promise yourself that you're going to carry this good feeling you've worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend or week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart and just bow your head with a smile. Excellent work today, everybody. Thank you. Good to see you all. Namaste.